I waited months, and it's finally here. A new Madoka Magica game, and it's finally here. And it seems to be pretty good for now. So to make more content and to hold myself accountable to the community guidelines, I will make some bloody content to this newly published game. Luckily for me, I got early access. Anyways, let's find out if all these months of waiting were worth it, and if the game is peak fiction. When booting up the game and downloading every single necessary data, we get welcomed by already peak fiction animation. This being a recreation of the first scene of the Madoka Magica anime, this being Madoka's dream of Walpurgisnacht. Already the game is passing the vibe check, if I may say so, since the scene is iconic. The scene also becomes more iconic by including some interesting POV camera work to showcases that these are Madoka's memory, and the keyword memory will be important later on. It also kind of feels like playing Sparking Zero once again, because just like the new Madoka Magica game, Sparking Zero did also these POV camera chapters and angles to let you feel like you're really there, like you're really this character. So I hope that the new Madoka Magica game also copied the what if content from Sparking Zero. By the way, short question, who would win, Madoka or Son Goku? I would love to hear your answer. Anyways, we continue Madoka's POV camera angle and see for the first time a 3D model of Walpurgisnacht in her glorious form, as well as a prep time Homura. And we also get our first tutorial and first look into the battle system. And like I already expected, it resembles a similar RPG battle mechanic style like from the definitely not Yuri game Hepburn's Red. Anyways, while fighting this fight, we get completely bodied by Walpurgisnacht, like always. She is just too overpowered. Even with Homura's American special technique, we found oil, get the military, did jack shit to Walpurgisnacht. Speaking of, to this day, the guy who guarded the military base the day Homura stole the weapons from, I still feel sorry for. He definitely lost his job thanks to Homura. And Homura didn't even win against Walpurgisnacht because Walpurgisnacht immediately defeats Homura with a barrage of houses. But that is Homura and her typical elts throughout the series. Even the Immortal has a better win count than Homura. But we can't feel sad for long enough, since Kyubey appears after seeing how Homura gets her shit beaten in and tells, like always, hey yo, become a magical girl, become a magical lad and you can stop it, to Madoka. Like the manipulator, he is still a goated villain, but he is still the logical asshole we all love to hate. Anyways, it is intro time and we see all the magical lads and the two goats of the Madoka Magica universe, Mabayoaki and Mami Tomoe, as well as Jane the Arc and every Magia record girl that I remember from the show, as well as some other magical girls that I either didn't read their story from or completely forgot their story. But after a mute intro, since I activated for this video the streamer mode, we finally see our MC, the nameless girl named shit, I don't know, she's nameless. I called her name, and for now she's just a self-insert character and our vessel, so it's a fitting name for name. Anyways, all we know about this character for now is that she knows that she was a magical girl and nothing more. By the way, when I read the promotion comics from Papa, I imagined her to speak with either my voice or the voice of Aegon Targaryen from House of the Dragons, but I was rather positive surprised to hear the name's voice. It is quite fitting, and her voice actor did a brilliant job voicing her. Anyways, we do know something about Name. She is currently in endless darkness, and after seeing this memory, she gets greeted with a picture of Madoka meeting Kyubey. This picture triggers a light and takes Name to a whole new world inside of a lighthouse, where we meet a green Kyubey called AQ. I wonder if it's a wordplay like, oh shit, a Kyubey. Anyways, it's prediction time. I predict that this Kyubey was banished from the incubators for having either emotion or being too fascinated by them, since AQ knows all the different emotion by names and names them even before we can name them ourselves and can actually predict what we are currently feeling. He is also extremely fascinated by them, and the incubator see emotions as mental illnesses. I wonder what they think of Harry Dubras from Disco Elysium. How insane would they see them? Anyways, AQ suddenly starts talking about memes, or memspark, and was actually quite hyped when we entered this lighthouse, but was quite disappointed when noticing that we aren't a memspark. Apparently these memsparks are small, shiny, and made from essence of a magical girl's experience, like a testament to their existence. And all these memsparks can find a safe haven here in this lighthouse. The lighthouse also serves as a beacon that guides the wandering souls of magical girls, which brings up so many questions. Are the magical girls that we are using with name deaf magical girls from different timelines? I mean, that would be some incubator shit that the incubator would do, especially considering that Name doesn't even know what exactly a magical girl is, even though she knows that she is a magical girl. But unlike Kyubey, Kyubey. He is a bit considerate of our emotional state and our feelings, but once again that could be a manipulation attempt of becoming dependent to him, similar to what Kyubey does to every magical girl. But for now only time will tell what is going to happen, and if AQ will betray us or if he will not. AQ wants at least to know if we remember the picture that we unlocked by framing a memspark. This kind of image is called a Puella pictura and depict the tales of magical girls. But even though AQ gave us this detailed explanation, Name doesn't remember anything. Her amnesia is still strong enough that she has no idea. The only thing she has now on her mind is why the bloody hell she looks so hollow. Even AQ is confused of why she is so hollow. And since he believes that bombarding Name with question would be no good, he leaves this empty doll to fend for herself, since in his eye an empty doll can't do shit for him. A typical Kyubey behavior. But seeing the emotional distress of Name, Kyubey, aka AQ, found his chance and was like, yo, did you feel anything? And Name was like, yeah, my heart started beating faster as if something was squeezing my chest. And AQ was like, yo bro, you remember how you feel? That's some good shit. What you feel now was called uncertainty. This feeling appeared after you felt lost and isolated. So to not feel this emotion, you should probably do stuff for me. I will definitely pay you. Probably not. AQ also wants to know if we felt some emotion when we touched the memspark. And Name tells AQ that they felt something. Seeing the opportunity as a typical incubator to extort a young girl once again who has no idea who she is and wants to feel emotion, asks of course the nameless girl if she would be willing to help him gather more memsparks by giving us positive encouragement and giving us a purpose in life, by giving us a promise that when we find the memsparks we would just might be able to find this nameless magical girl's lost memories and her lost self, and that this uncertainty that she is currently feeling would disappear, but only of course if they are together and don't part ways. Typical manipulator shit, and it works because he's cute. And only after they made their contract, AQ then tells his name to the nameless girl and declares himself as her personal helper. Man, I want him to be good, but seeing all these signs I already know he's going to be evil, but he has still some good dynamics. AQ shows us a window into memories, which is a portal to another space where we can collect some memsparks which are scattered throughout the space beyond. If we gather enough memsparks, we will get a portrait photo. But before we enter this window, AQ notes that we are unfit to go out there and beat the living shit out of familiars and tells us that we need a vessel and summons the power of the Dark Magician. Okay, not gonna lie, that would be cool, but instead he summons the power of Madoka, and the nameless will get turned into Madoka Kaname, which would be a wet dream for Homura. Anyways, AQ tells us that when we go through the memory space, we will need to gather memsparks so that we can fill these empty picture frames. So the nameless girl enters the window into memory land and immediately enters World 1 Level 1. I hope she doesn't find Mario, because AQ doesn't even enter the memory land because he can't enter this memory land with his current body, but he uses telepathy to support us along the way. By the way, this scene is extremely funny because of the fact that I activate the streamer modus, I have no music. Anyways, the nameless girl suddenly transforms into Madoka because of AQ's borrowed magical power. The nameless girl now looks like Madoka, and because she still has amnesia, she starts to believe that this is her original form, only to hear from AQ that this isn't her original form and she should continue searching for her memories. But we have no time to think about that because we collect the first memsparks and get immediately jumped by these mustache-having ass familiars and get introduced to the tutorial. Since we will be facing more enemies throughout the game and these entire fights are tutorial fights, let me just explain from here on out how exactly fighting in this game works. As you can already see, it's a typical RPG round-based system where each figure waits for the other one's turn and just stands still. The magical girls can use basic attacks and battle skills. Each of them are, for each magical girl, different. On the down left side, there is also tokens that show how much SP you have left, since one battle skill takes away 1 SP. The enemy has HP and has a shield around them. When the shield breaks down, they enter their break phase, and certain characters can inflict more damage or less damage considering if the guard is up or if they have entered the break phase. In general, all battles follow the same basic flow. Put the enemies in break, raise the break bonus to multiply damage dealt, then unleash powerful special attacks to deal maximum damage. To do that effectively, you must master and understand the different types of roles in battle, and there exist 6 unique roles in battle. There exists the attacker, which have have high firepower and specialize in dealing damage to enemies, these being Homura and Yashio. Then there exist breakers like Iroha and Madoka, which excels at depleting the break gouache and increasing the break bonus. Then there exists the buffer like Suina, which adapt at supporting allies and raising firepowers with a variety of buffs and effects. The debuffer, which are a turning point to the battles by applying debuffs and alignments to enemies. Defenders, who protect allies and are capable of shielding them and boost their endurance. And healers, who does what the name implies, restores the health of their allies. During the tutorial time, we are also collecting some memstones, and by collecting them, we gather the memories of certain magical girls. In this case, the memories of Madoka Kaname. And the memory we get to see is literally the first episode of the anime. So this game is rather beginner Madoka fans friendly. But for me, a person who played most of the Madoka Magica games, has watched a lot of Magia record content, watched the spin-off series and read the spin-off series, that is rather disappointing. But we can gather enough crystals by watching all these scenes and skimming over the tutorial levels, so that's a plus once again. But once again, the first episode of Madoka Magica in this visual novel style is pretty interesting, and the models for every single character are also quite well made, with their usage of live 2D sprites and CGs from the original anime. What I also found interesting was that Madoka's brother and Madoka's father also had sprites, as well as Madoka's mother. By the way, Madoka's father is a goated character, since he is a great stay-at-home dad. Anyways, since I assume most of you know the first episode of Madoka Magica, let's just get to the highlight of the first episode. This being the entrance of Homura in the school, as well as Sayaka declaring her love to Madoka, and the question of what kind of shampoo Homura uses. The answer to that
is crazy. What the heck's your secret? L'Oreal. Because I'm worth it.
Because Homura wants to escape these bitches, we get a sweet-ass animation once again of Madoka POV memories, where she walks down the hallway and sees Homura. And it's extremely well animated and perfectly captures the feeling I had whenever I played Sparking Zeroes and watched it from the POV perspective. But this time with better camera work and actually a reactionary camera work instead of a static camera like in Sparking Zero, which gets another plus point. The scenes ends and our nameless girl has gathered all the necessary memstone and got another portrait and gets greeted with the opening. But once again, I got the streamer mode, so it was completely mute for me, so that was kind of awkward. But let's continue with the lore. After our mysterious nameless girl has gathered a lot of memsparks, she felt some emotion and starts to continue with her journey to collect more memsparks and is willing to go throughout the window to gather these memsparks. But since the nameless girl is not very knowledgeable about emotion, she asks the worst person about emotions, this being AQ, and states that after feeling all these emotions, her heart started to pound more and more, and her urge to feel this once again grows larger and larger. AQ explains that the feeling that she is feeling currently now is called hope. The desire she felt to seek out memspark was surely overflowing, and even state that their meeting and their contract was nothing more than a miracle or even destiny. So AQ presents the mysterious girl another mysterious feature, this being the Wondrous Door, where you can call for Kyokos throughout there. Kyokos, by the way, are magical girls or vessels for magical girls, and this is basically the gacha feature. By using a key, you can open the door, and by doing that, you get access to either 1 magical girl, 5 magical girls, or 10 magical girls. Since I got a free key from AQ, I got some magical girls. I got 10 free pulls with new magical girl that even I don't know, but I'm willing to learn more about these magical girls. Even the nameless girl is quite impressed by this and wants to learn more about these magical girls. And since I pre-ordered the game, I even got a gift box with Lux Magia Madoka, some magic keys, some void stones, and some portraits. Oh, that's what I completely forgot. The portraits also give the player some bonuses, like increasing the defense, increasing the attacks, and so on and so on. It increases the stats. After gathering a lot of magical girls, I also assigned my magical girl automatic and got a quite strong team. AQ also introduces me to the shop mechanic, where we meet Knight, a rather strange looking creature who collects valuable items. What value these items have will the bird decide. So for now we can probably use the trading center, but when the game comes out properly, we can do that shit. And finally, after introducing us to all this shit, AQ finally wants to give us the privilege to name ourselves, since he feels like when we have this contract, we need to communicate properly, and a name would be fitting for that. And since I already said at the beginning what I named my character, I named my character Name, since it was the most fitting name I could think of. We get some promos for the upcoming events, and we also finally get some idea what exactly we can expect for this game. Remember when I said that I hope that we get something similar like what happened in Sparking Zero, where we get some what-ifs in this Madoka Magica games? Well, yeah, we get some what-ifs. The first event that we will get is Steady Step Forward, Magical Girl Dreams, which apparently is a what-if scenario between Madoka and Homura. And Madoka and Homura focus story is already coded, and I'm quite hyped for this event. I also continue exploring the galleries and the magical girls because I noticed that by looking at the magical girls and reading their stories, you can gather some magical stones. And I was also quite interested in knowing what I exactly collected and wanted to hear all the stories. So by entering the gallery, I also was able to watch the personalized stories of each and every magical girl that I have already collected. But since I don't have every item that is needed to unlock every single story element, I was only able to watch the first story element, this being a short introduction of who their characters are. But for now, that was my first impression of this game. I will make a second video for the next day and the day after, but for now, I quite enjoy this game and I'm quite interested in how this game continues going forward. But since it is a freemium game, I quite fear that I will be forced to pay for this game, and I don't do that shit. I don't plan on spending money on this game, even though I find this game interesting. If this game forces me to pay money to actually play this game, I will most likely drop this game because I don't do that shit. But for now, I wish you all a bloody good day and subscribe to my channel.